I don't know if this is happening yet. I just mentioned this action plan, 16-step national action plan. I will maybe go through it very quickly because things are coming, I think. And it's not all connected to schools, but as I mentioned earlier, I feel like this, there has been a strong focus on children actually, and on schools, and on raising awareness among school staff, etc., which I find interesting. I don't know really where that comes from. So it has 7 objectives, and they compile the 16 steps under there. Just quickly, collecting data on violence in schools based on sexual orientation, gender identity, and intersex conditions, or DSDs. I mean, sounds good so far, like who would be against that? Implement policies at a national level, and especially in schools. So by schools, I also mean other educational establishments and daycare centers, etc., to promote well-being and prevent violence. Well, again, you know, you can't be against that. But knowing how this has panned out in certain other countries, I raise my eyebrows a little bit when I read about awareness raising of school board members, training, offering training to teachers and psychosocial staff, and raising awareness among the school staff and students and parents about the laws regarding protection from violence, setting up public awareness campaigns, etc. I know how this, I mean, this all sounds really great on paper, and I hope it will also have a positive outcome, but if it follows trans ideology, it could turn out quite differently. Other steps are making school curricula and educational materials inclusive, promoting inclusive language. I think many of us know what that means. Or can mean, because one of the things that were mentioned was to use more non-heteronormative images or examples of families, which is, I think, a positive thing. But it can also, I mean, inclusive language can also mean the asterisks, for example, or we don't know where that might lead. Also adapting the curricula for training of teachers and other school staff, including the medical staff in educational establishments, to prevent and combat violence at schools. So what is violence? It is saying that a boy is a boy. Hate speech, is it violence at some point? I don't know where that will end. There will be public awareness raising about the notion of gender identity through the media, information stands, conferences, seminars, press articles, posters, etc. Like a huge campaign, apparently, to make us believe. I mean, this is an ideology in the end, that, you know, you are the sex that you say you are, or gender, or whatever. Training for civil servants about LGBTI rights, especially for people working with vulnerable people. And there will be an evaluation planned. And I know that there is now, I've seen a poll coming in for school staff. I don't actually work in a school, so I was thinking of maybe contacting some people who I know who are teachers, so that they participate in this poll. So there is, I think, quite an extensive consultation process taking place now. But again, if it's in the same spirit as the spirit in which the law was passed, which is, let's be kind to an oppressed group, and there is a group of people who are struggling with their own mental health, and which partly is true. But if that is the extent of the information that people are given in polls, for example, then, and if women are not consulted, I don't know where this will lead. And I would also mention that the notion of hate speech is not, did I already mention that, I think? Yeah, that the notion of freedom of the press is being limited in this new action plan.